Thank you very much. So, does anyone have any questions from what we have been saying the last 2 times? Or someone who wishes to add or ask something or something to clarify? Okay, then we can continue. So we have been saying as an introduction that Advaita Vedanta is a spiritual path which is, as a matter of fact, it is transcendental wisdom. It is a wisdom that cannot be easily conveyed through words, through the dualistic language. Why it is so? Because the dualistic language, it uses so much the subject and object division. So it works only with plurality, and it cannot work easily with singularity. So Advaitam is singularity. It is even beyond singularity. We speak about singularity in Advaita Vedanta because people believe in plurality and duality. So, as a balance, in Advaita Vedanta, we speak of unity or singularity. But in reality, Advaita Vedanta is even beyond singularity or unity. Why I say that? Because since there is only consciousness, awareness, Brahman, there is no meaning in speaking about unity or oneness. We speak about unity or oneness because people believe in plurality or duality. In reality, the truth is beyond duality and non-duality. And we can use as an example the deep sleep without dreams. During this state of deep sleep without dreams, there is no such questions as is there duality, plurality, or unity? There are no questions, there is no thinking process, and there is no any meaning of asking any kind of questions. Still, there is something there, something, of course, in inverted commas, because what is there is beyond a thing, it is pure consciousness, awareness. So in deep sleep, there is this presence which can reveal even the nothingness or blankness. But that is beyond any meaning of duality, plurality, or unity, singularity. Upon waking up, we have the thinking process, and the thinking process is working, is functioning through what we call nama rupa in Advaita Vedanta, which means nama, names, and rupa, forms. So the dualistic language it works through using these labels. So we see a tree and we say this is a tree. When in reality, the tree does not say I am a tree. Nobody says that except the thinking process. In reality, a tree is nothing else but consciousness. The same with what we call the sun or the flower or the human being. Everything is the same consciousness, appearing, modulating itself as beings, the apparent universe, and apparent objects. So that's why in Advaita Vedanta, another tool we use is what we call neti, which means not this, not this. So when we want to speak about Advaitam, we usually speak about not this, not this. Meaning that whenever we try to understand Advaita, it is better to speak with negations. Like Advaitam is not this, is not this, is not this. Because when you start trying to explain what is Advaitam through the dualistic language, it is very, very easy to fall into traps, into a trap. Because Advaitam, the absolute truth, cannot fit in, cannot being explained through the dualistic language, simply because it is beyond any dualism and any pluralism. But of course, the teaching and the Guru wants to convey the teaching because an apparent human being is asking help. So, and the tool that the teacher, the Guru, has is the dualistic language, unfortunately. Of course, there are other tools as well. For example, the tool of Nididhyasanam, Vedantic meditation, where you can go a little bit beyond the thinking process. But generally speaking, when we are dealing with the teaching and Sravanam and Mananam, Sravanam listening to the teachings under a competent Guru, study the teachings with the help of a living holy tradition and a living Guru who is belonging to this living lineage, spiritual lineage. And then Mananam, which is clarifying your questions and your doubts, solving any doubts, clearing up any doubts. Then we have the Nididhyasanam, the Vedantic meditation, when we claim our true nature, our true self. So when we use Vedantic meditation, is the only way that we can go a little bit again beyond the thinking process and beyond the dualistic language. Then we can use what we call also Upassanam, which is different kinds of meditations, which again is beyond the dualistic language. And also we can take advantage of the blessings, the spiritual power, which cannot be, of course, explained, the grace, the spiritual power of the spiritual lineage, which is coming through the living Guru, and the living Guru Parampara, which means a living holy tradition. So grace, for example, or blessing from the lineage, which is something that the Guru is able to convey to the Sishya, to the student, the follower, is of course beyond the dualistic language. And through this means, we can gradually see the truth, see with inverted commas, of course, and being able to solve our misconceptions, our mental conclusions about the universe, about the apparent beings, about the apparent objects, and of course about ourself and what is the nature of ourself, what we mean when we say myself. So I can do a break to see if somebody wishes to ask or to clarify something, and if not, I will continue. Is there anybody who wishes to ask, add, or clarify something? All the rest, please keep your microphone closed, unless you want to ask something or to add something. So since there is no any question for now, we can go ahead. So we use in Advaita Vedanta, as I said, a lot of different tools. We use a methodology so we can be able to find out the truth and lead ourselves to what we call self-realization or enlightenment or moksha. Now, again, as I said in the previous Satsanga, moksha, self-realization or enlightenment is only an illusion. There is no such thing as self-realization, enlightenment or moksha. Although this may be look very, very advanced and very profound, that is the truth. Because we speak about moksha, self-realization, enlightenment, only when we have the appearance of the thinking process. For example, in deep sleep without dreams, we don't have any meaning of self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha, or liberation, or bondage. Why? Because bondage is just a dream. First of all, in the first place, there is no anybody as an individual, as a jivatma. And secondly, there is no universe. The universe is an apparent universe, is a mental universe. The apparent beings are mental beings, apparent beings. So what is there? It is only Brahman, only awareness, only consciousness, impersonal one, an impersonal one. And this is what is your real self, your real nature. So if it is like that, then why we have spiritual traditions, why we have spiritual paths, why there is the need of these paths, why there is the need of a guru, spiritual practices, and scriptural study, sastram, because for those who are ajnanis, not those who know the truth. So ajnanis, not jnanis, they need, of course, a spiritual path, a living, holy Guru Parampara, a living Guru, study, sastram, and spiritual practices, sadhana, until the mature states where you recognize that in the first place, you have never, ever been an individual or a jivatma. And always your true nature is Brahman. There is only Brahman. That's why a self-realized one, what we call a self-realized one, because there is no such thing, there is no such a being, because in the first place there are no beings, there are only apparent beings. But an apparent jnani is able to say Aham Brahmasmi. He don't say, I am a Jivatma who now became Brahman. He says, I am Brahman, and Brahman is the only reality. But until this mature states, all the rest are needed. The spiritual path, living holy tradition, Guru Parampara, the living Guru who is belonging to a particular holy Parampara, spiritual lineage, Shastra, scriptural study, sadhana, spiritual practice, and the three levels where we use in particular in Advaita Vedanta, which are Sravanam, listening under a competent guru, study under a competent guru, this is called Sravanam, Mananam, clarifying your doubts, your questions, and Nididhyasanam, Vedantic meditation, where you are on the position now to assimilate, to soak up yourself and your life to this teaching and to this truth. But until that stage, that we recognize that in the first place there is no we, there is no me as a person, as an individual, as an ego, as a jivatma, but all the time, forever, ever, ever, I was only Brahman, and there is only Brahman. We need all this methodology, spiritual practice, study, and so on and so forth. So, moksha does exist only in the dream Vyavaharika reality. What means Vyavaharika? Means the empirical so-called reality, the dream so-called reality, where the teachings are speaking and helping those who believe that they are an individual to live a harmonious and peaceful and fulfilling life. But, as I said before, there is also the Paramarthika teachings, which are dealing with the absolute truth, not the dream so-called reality, not the empirical so-called reality. Although all are needed, Vyavaharika teachings are also needed. Because until you are in the position to realize that there is no Jagat, there is no universe, and the universe is an apparent one, that there are no Jivatmas, individual souls, ego, persons, but they are apparent ones. And until you realize that, you need all these tools that I have mentioned. And until you realize that, of course, you need the help and the support of the teachings that they are dealing with the Vyavaharika dream apparent reality. Why? In order to have a harmonious, a nice, a happy life. Because otherwise, you will experience a lot of suffering and a lot of pain and a lot of negative experiences. If you don't follow the teachings, which are dealing with the Vyavaharika, the dream apparent reality. Because you will not be able to use the spiritual laws and the spiritual tools to live such a beautiful life. But for those who are ready, those in inverted commas, of course, there is also the Paramarthika teaching, the beyond teaching, the the transcendental teaching and wisdom. But this is only for the few ones. It's not for everybody, this teaching. It is not. Advaita Vedanta, real Advaita Vedanta, Advaitam, I don't believe that it is for more than 10 apparent persons in each country. Maybe I say even a lot. I don't believe even in India, Bharati, there are more than 100 persons able to understand and to assimilate Advaita. Even my Guru, Swami Paramarthananda, he said that after 40 years of teaching, still my students, my Sishyas, are sending SMS to God asking help as helpless individuals. So unfortunately, this teaching, Advaitam, it is just for very, very few. And it is, of course, like that because this teaching is transcendental wisdom. But anyways, we can try here and we can see who are ready and spiritually mature for this very, 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 very profound and transcendental teaching. Even if we will not be able to convey this transcendental teaching to enough apparent individuals, at least all the apparent individuals will be able to use some kind of principles or some kind of teaching for a more harmonious and more happy life, more fulfilling life, and more worthy life. So again, I will make 1-2 minutes break to see if somebody wishes to clarify or ask something. All the rest, please keep your microphone closed.
Yeah, Shankaracharya, I have a question. Oh, I think let's allow Fiona to ask the question. Please go ahead, Fiona.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, it's your choice. Your choice. Please go ahead. Then I'll ask.
I just wanted to ask, hello, namaste. I just wanted to ask if you could give us some instruction on the meditation that we could do regarding this.
Well, yes, I will do a guided meditation in the end.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody
Now, my
else?
question is,
Sure.
Swamiji, my question is,
Yes,
see,
please go ahead.
You spoke about Paramarthika knowledge, transcendental, etc., etc. Whereas most of us, including me, I think are at the very initial stages of introduction to Advaita Vedanta. So, like, what is the preparatory work we have to undergo to even grasp 10% of what you are saying? What is the preparatory work we have to do when we come and sit here? When you say transcendental knowledge, or Advaita, how do we be able to receive? What is that antenna we should prepare? We should lift up so that as we listen to you, we are able to grasp. Because we are all in the rat race in the materialistic world. Morning we start at 9 o'clock, run around. Weekend we relax and listen to you. How do we prepare ourselves? What is that initial preparation you suggest to all of us so that when we come to your class, readily be able to grasp what you are saying? I hope I make sense when I ask this question.
Yes, yes. Very nice question. So that's why we will go through a 3-level study and practice through these online satsangas. We will go step by step, although I'm giving to you sometimes some phrases or some meaning which is very transcendental and very profound for those who are ready. But no matter that, we will go step by step through the scriptural study, starting from the next Sunday through the Tattva Bodha, which is a fundamental work of Adi Shankaracharya. And we will go step by step and as slow as possible in order to be able to comprehend and to grasp these profound teachings. And also, during your daily routine and your life, it is very nice from time to time when you are able to do some kind of Atma Vichara when you are able. For example, let's say that you are driving to go to your office or to your work or to any of your daily duties. You can ask yourself, there is something here, something of course in inverted commas, which is able to be able to witnessing as witnessing consciousness, Saksi Chaitanya, what this body-mind complex is performing, is doing. Let's say the body-mind complex is driving to go to the job. Ask yourself, something is watching. This witnessing presence that is able to reveal this body-mind complex driving towards the job. Can I localize it? Can I see where is it? And what is this witnessing presence? Is it inside the body? Is it behind my nose? Is it behind the nose, inside the skull? Or I cannot localize it. So it is very important as a wonderful preparation and spiritual practice, as often as possible, to ask ourselves, what is this witnessing consciousness, witnessing presence? It is called in Advaita Vedanta, Saksi Chaitanyam. And this is our true nature. So the more often we can be able to see this true nature through questions, through Atma Vichara, the better. Because when we come back home, we will be able to be, even for our daily practice, to be more ready and more prepared. And of course, for our Saturday Satsanga, we will be more prepared if during the week we have done this sadhana, this spiritual practice. Furthermore, as a preparation, it is very, very important to start our day with a Mahavakyam. For example, a Mahavakyam just like as Aham Brahmasmi or Tat Tvam Asi. And in order to start our day and to close even our day in the night before sleep with the right conclusion, the right concept about our true selves. So we start our day with Aham Brahmasmi, I'm Brahman, I'm infinite impersonal consciousness awareness, and I'm not a samsari, I'm not a helpless individual, a helpless human being who is dependent or either in the Jagat, in the world, or in some kind of God to help me, because I'm helpless, a helpless samsari, a wanting and needing person. And the same, we can close our night again by the same or another Mahavakyam. What means Mahavakyam? A great statement of truth. which we can find in the Upanishads, Vedanta. For example, another one, as I said, is Tat Tvam Asi, I am that. So by starting our day and closing our day with Mahavakyams, we are in a very, very profound path, and we can create a very, very strong preparation. And as we go through our online satsangas, we will add more and more instructions and spiritual practices that we can be helped in our preparation for this profound path and study. Is that all right, or you want me to elaborate more for now?
Fine. For now,
All right.
we can take it forward afterwards, or if anybody else wants to know anything. For me, it is all right as of now.
All right, all right. Somebody else?
I propose something actually with your permission.
Sure.
Can I propose?
Sure.
See, one of the preparatory work can be chanting of Om.
Sure. Yes, of course.
And every day, maybe in intervals of 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes, yes. Om is very powerful. It is very, very powerful. Whoever can chant Om, either loud or even inside,
Sorry,
it
I
is
lost.
very, very powerful Om.
As many times as possible, especially for those who are getting introduction to Advaita.
Yes, yes. Very important.
Like we Indians here, by default, we chant Omkara every day. Somewhere or the other, we keep chanting Omkara and Shanti Mantra.
Yes, yes, it is wonderful. It is really, really very helpful.
I propose that if everyone can chant every day, maybe morning or evening, for a few minutes Omkara, that
Yes.
itself becomes a preparatory work. With your
Yes.
permission, I am proposing, you can suggest what to do.
Yes, of course, I agree. Om is very, very important. The more often somebody can chant Om, the better. Either loudly or inside. It is very, very powerful. Actually, there is nothing else except Om. This is the ultimate reality. And it is being conveyed also in the Upanishads. Somebody else?
Thank you so much. Let's go on.
You're welcome. So we can continue a little bit more and then we can do a guided meditation. So just like how we speak about meditation, meditation without a scriptural study, the study of the Shastram, is completely no exit. Why? Because meditation is not meant to convey self-knowledge. Meditation is for assimilating and helping self-knowledge. So a lot of people, maybe 90% of the Westerners, the Western spiritual seekers, they believe that if they will do regular meditation, let's say morning and night, it is more than enough for self-knowledge. But this is a complete error. It is a big mistake. And why is that? Because as it is mentioned in the scriptures, meditation can bring you in a thoughtless state when it is, let's say, when it works to bring you in a thoughtless state through a long practice. this thoughtless state can bring you santi, can bring you peace only for the period that you are doing the meditation. And sometimes it can cover a little bit more of your day. But the problems that you are having as an individual, all the ignorance and all the vasanas, the mental predispositions from previous lifetimes, cannot be solved, cannot be dissolved only through meditation. So in Advaita Vedanta, for example, we are using meditation in a very, very different way than how they use it in other spiritual paths. For Advaita Vedanta, meditation is not the destroying of the mind or the destroying to destroy the thinking process. It is rather directing the thinking process to the right target. So we are using meditation, Vedantic meditation, Nididhyasana in Advaita Vedanta, when we want to assimilate the Sravanam and Mananam that we have been doing previously. So meditation can work, can give benefit for Advaita Vedanta only like that. Otherwise, you are remaining just an ignorant. You are remaining an ajnani, a non-self-realized being. Because to be an ajnani, to be an ignorant, it means that you have lack of knowledge, that there is ignorance about your true nature, about your true self, about the universe, about God. So how you can gain this knowledge in the thoughtless state? It's like you want to learn, let's say, a foreign language. Let's say you want to learn Chinese, and you say to yourself, I will learn Chinese by doing meditation. Is that possible? It's not possible. You have to study. You have to have a professor, or at least you have to study and practice this language. You cannot go to a thoughtless state and learn Chinese language. The same with the self-knowledge, jnanam. Jnanam can be derived only through knowledge, only through scriptural study, sastram, through sravanam, listening and study the sastram under a competent guru in a living tradition. And then, of course, you can use the Vedantic meditation, Nididhyasanam, to assimilate, to soak up yourself and your life into this truth, into this teaching. So we have in Advaita Vedanta different kind of guided meditations that we can use. We can, for example, use a Mahavakyam, a great statement of the truth, for example, Aham Brahmasmi, and staying in a yogic posture, a good posture for meditation. We can repeat, let's say, this Mahavakyam inside ourselves, or even loudly, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, infinite impersonal awareness, consciousness, and try to assimilate this truth, this statement, this great statement, which is from the Upanishads, and so on and so forth. So in Nididhyasanam, in Vedantic meditation, we don't prefer, let's put it that way, the destroying, the cessation of the thinking process. Rather, we do prefer the directing, the true and good direction of our thinking process to jnana, to self-knowledge. And because we have to go gradually between this illusory triangular format that there is ourselves as an individual being, a Jivatma, that there is Jagat, the universe, and that there is Isvara, God. One way or another, sooner or later, we have to transcend, we have to go beyond this understanding, and we have to go to the binary format, which is Atma, Anatma, Viveka, which means the discrimination between what is Atma and what is Anatma. For example, Anatma is Jagat, the universe, the apparent universe, and the Jivatma, the individual souls, the individual egos or persons. And even Isvara, God, is mithya, is something impermanent. Our true nature as Brahman is not impermanent. It is not mithya. It is not a lower level of apparent reality. But it is the absolute truth, the absolute reality. And through Nididhyasana, through Vedantic meditation, we can do and we can experience and we can feel this real discrimination, this Atma, Anatma, Viveka, the discrimination between what is real and what is not real. And by saying this, we can proceed now to a small guided meditation. So you can take a comfortable posture. In reality, it is very important to have your spine erect and vertical to the ground. It is very important to have a posture that it does not create tension in the body-mind complex. You can use any mudra that it is familiar to you. Let's say Chin mudra, Gyan mudra or Chin mudra, whatever is more familiar for you, or another mudra that you are used to do. Try to close your eyes, just like you want to sleep. You go to sleep without tension. And as you keep your eyes closed without tension, try to become aware of the breathing process, become aware of the inhalation and exhalation. Avoid to give importance to the thoughts that do appear and disappear. Consider every thought just like a cloud in the sky that goes by, covering a little bit the sun, the light, and then allows the light to appear again. Become aware more and more of your breathing process, not only the inhalation and exhalation, but become aware as well of the movement of your belly, the movement of your chest, any moment that you become aware that you were trapped in thoughts, just acknowledge that by saying to yourself mentally, I was trapped in thoughts. I will go back now in my meditation practice. Again and again, become aware of the breathing process and become aware in the moment where you can caught up yourself trapped in thoughts. Don't try to alternate or modify your breathing. Just allow the breathing to be natural. The only important thing here is to be aware, if possible, of each and every inhalation, each and every exhalation, along with the movement in the belly, the chest, etc. If there are any sounds around you and you become attached to them, just say to yourself, I will let go all the other sounds and I will focus again and again my attention to become aware of my breathing experience. The breathing becomes more and more of your interest and your immediate or direct awareness. Become aware now of the sensation of your body, of your pelvic area in particular. Become aware of the place that your pelvic area is touching. Let go of the awareness of the breathing. Do not be aware anymore of your breathing. And focus on the pelvic area and the place that your pelvic area is touching. Become aware as well of your feet. If your feet are touching the ground, become aware of this sensation of your feet touching the ground. Become aware now of the tinkling, the small movements of your eyelids when these movements are appearing by themselves. Now become aware of any possible sounds around your room. Become aware more and more of any sounds they do appear around your home. Any sounds in your room as well, like the sounds, let's say, of the computer or any other kind of sound. Alternate your awareness consciously, first in your eyelids, the movements in your eyelids, and the sounds in the room or out of your room. Now become aware of this witnessing presence that is here and now, listening the voice of the instructions. Become aware that the voice of the instructions, the sensation of your eyelids movement, and any sounds in the room or outside of your room, appearing and disappearing in a space-like field. Become aware that this field, this space-like field, does not have a beginning point or an ending point. It does not have a localization. It cannot be localized. You can even ask yourself, what is aware here and now? Where is it? Can I localize it? And see what is the truth about this witnessing presence, Saksi Chaitanya, which is here and now, listening, experiencing, allows any experience, any sensation, any perception, any thought, everything to appear and disappear. it seems really that it is the experiencer. But in reality, it allows the experience, but it is even beyond any kind of experience. It is only the screen or the background or the substratum, the light, the revealer of anything that appears and disappears in it. Ask yourself, is this substratum a human being? Does it have a form? Does it have a beginning or an ending point? Is this witnessing consciousness a female or a male? Did ever had a birth, a beginning? Does it have an age? Does it need anything at all? Become aware that if you don't think, if you stay in silence, there is a total fulfillment and bliss. This witnessing consciousness, Satchitananda, does not need anything at all. It is fulfillment and bliss itself. Very, very, very slowly, take a deep breath, inhale, hold your inhalation as long as it is comfortable, and then exhale very, very slowly. And when you do that 2 more times, total 3 times, open your eyes, look in front of you, unmovable, for 1 minute. And as you have your eyes open and being unmovable, be aware of this Satchitananda, witnessing consciousness. Be aware that it cannot be imprisoned in what you call my body. Be aware that this Satchitananda, witnessing consciousness, cannot, it is impossible to be located inside what you call my body. It cannot be located anywhere. And as a moving field of awareness, allow the body to start moving, but in a very, very conscious manner. And who is ready and wishing to close our satsanga with a traditional mantra, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would.
Please go ahead.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om.